promise to help each other, celebrate the joys of life, and to console each other.
Hello. I am sorry, but I must interrupt this show. Later, you know what it is. Hey, Ham Solo. It's time, baby. Low. It's time how we do. Hey. They said we said we lit. They said we said we on. They said we said we strong. They said we said we go. We say that you heard right. 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 They said we said we in. They said we said we on. They said we said strong. They said we said go. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right. We say that you man. I swear that it's imminent. I've been going so hard on my penmanship. About to go in and buy me a whip. And I pull that shit fresh off the dealership. I can leave you in red like an Xbox. Got me laughing at you like you red fox. Got you chasing Hot Wheels like a matchbox. EA running the game and it don't stop. Super cold like I'm playing for Blitz. Cause you all in my sights like Red Dead Redemption. Never gonna slip on my pimpin'. Better get out my way, bitch, I'm on a mission. Really ain't no competition. I'm steady grilling opposition. I'm get up and ready to win. They can play it how they play, but fuck what you say. I'm getting this money today. Last of us like a dying breed. Down the ride like a noble steed. Fatality moves, I make it bleed. That's on any game, that's on any screen. Shut up and give me your money. They said we so lit. Even if I take an L, we coming back just to show that we don't quit. They said we hit. They said we said we on. They said we said we strong. They said we said we go.
Hey, yo, what's cracking, everybody? It's your boy Ham Solo back here on the TSWS Gaming YouTube channel doing our usual bullsitting on Friday evenings. As you can see, my setup is completely different. I am out of town, and I'll get to that here shortly. But Loke is out because of weather, I guess. I guess they're having a storm or something like that. I didn't know Texas was down bad like that right now, but they're having a storm or something out his way right now, and his power went out. Yeah, I'm and as I was just saying before, I'm out of town, hanging out with some with the in-laws right now. Mother-in-law is having some health issues currently right now, and I'm running this show from my Steam Deck right now, unfortunately, but fortunately it works. But it was kind of a struggle getting it to kick on and get it, well, not really to get it to kick on, but just to get everything set up on this thing. We had just got back home from, going out to the lake and eating lunch and stuff like that. So I was in a little bit of a panic to get started today, but we are here regardless. And I got, the legendary man Yobi here with us as a guest today. And then I got a usual panel member, Mr. Matt Likes Games, here with us today as well. Mental 9R could not make it today. I have no idea where Cozy is as usual, but we are here to talk about all sorts of things within gaming that's been going on in the past week. Sorry that I was out this last Wednesday, but I was making my way up to where I am now, which is here in Colorado. But anyways, I wanted to pass it off over to Matt first and see what's been going on for him. I actually haven't talked to you for a few days either. I haven't talked to anybody. What's been cracking for you, brother?
Bro, I've been playing a lot of Metro Exodus. I saw you playing Stalker, and I tried playing Stalker, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm just struggling to get into it. And I know Metro was inspired by Stalker, so I'm playing Metro Exodus in anticipation for Stalker 2, pretty much. But that's really all I've been playing. I've been mainlining it.
I hear you. Yeah, I've been playing the hell out of Stalker. I've been loving it lately. I'm not sure if you got to see that little clip that I put on Twitter. I mean, if you watch that clip, you could just see the panic that was going on. Like me just pulling out a unloaded gun, trying to shoot it, and then it's reloading, and then I pull out the same gun again. It's still unloaded, trying to reload it, and I'm trying to get to my assault rifle, but I'm panicking at the same time. And you could just if you watch that video, you could just see me just going through the paces and the options that I have and just failing. repeatedly. And then I finally get my assault rifle out and the gun jams.
I saw that, yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. like I was in a dark corridor and it was very unsafe. And all you heard when I was walking, I was just trying to get some ammo out of this box. I was trying to mind my own goddamn business. And all you hear in the background is roar. And I was like, we're going to ignore that and continue to get this ammo. That's what I was thinking. I was like, we're going to ignore that, try to get this ammo. And then it did the zoom in thing where it's like, you are not ignoring shit.
Yep. Yeah.
And then I turned around to run away and realized that's the direction he was running from. So that's when the panicking ensued. Because I thought I was running away from him, but no, I was running towards him. But anyways, I'm getting into my feelings. Yobi, it's good to have you back here again. It's the second time within a month now that we had you on the show, so it's 100% a pleasure to have you here today. Brother, how you been doing? What you been playing? What's cracking with you?
I've been chilling, man. I've been playing Starfield. Look at tons of Starfield.
You ready for that Shattered?
I've been ready for Shadow Space since Starfield first came out. You know what I'm saying? That I've been playing a lot of Star Wars Outlaws, a little bit of Star Wars Hunter, the exclusive game that's on the Switch. Got to get back into that. It was fun. I've been playing Project Zone. It's a Nintendo IP that's on 3DS. It's like a tactical RPG. And it has like all of the the Capcom fighters in that, which is just Capcom IP, it was just weird to see, but it's a dope ass game. Shout out to Ken Mac, he won't put me onto that. And
shout out to Sir X-Man in the chat. I see him right there. It's been a little while since I've seen the boys. So it's good to see him.
Yeah, what up, Sir X-Man? And what else? I've been playing Star Wars, Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. I always go back to that game. You know, I beat it, but I love that game so much. I always go back to it. It's a little fun, little quick game. Other than that, I've just been chilling, man, relaxing, just staying positive, you know, like I always do.
Nice.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask you guys all. This is a fun little question just to kind of get us started. And it's not really directed at anything or in anything particular. It's more or less about gaming in general. I'm going to start out with Yobi, but I want the chat and everybody else that's here to 100% participate. I'll participate as well after I get the other two panel members' thoughts on this. But from 1 to 10, I want you to give me a gauge on how you feel about like the temperature in gaming. 10 being hot, 1 being ice cold. Yobi, I know you enjoy many of flavors of different types of games.
Yes, indeed.
And you see gold where some people see trash.
Facts.
Right? Because, I mean, a lot of people are quick to judge something just by looking at the cover of it without giving it 2 seconds to try. Which, I mean, I can...
Oh, he froze.
Oh, no.
Sheesh.
Oh, damn. Damn, where you at, buddy?
Well, that sucks.
That's unfortunate.
So he said, "What's my temperature on gaming from a scale?" He said from 1 to 10, right?
Yep, 1 to 10.
I'm gonna have to break this up, Matt, because I look at it like this. When it comes to when I say mainstream, I mean like, you know, the AAA, the popular studios of today, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would say from a scale of 1 to 10, I say they're on a 5. Now, when it comes to the indie studio, the studios who don't make a lot of noise, but they putting out gems and damn near classics every other day, every other month. I'll say from the indie side, I'll say they're on. I'll give them probably like a 9 or a 10, because when it comes to the indie side, we don't hear no reports about them like going through a shakeup. You know, they're not going through any development problems, video game making problems, you always hear enough of that from the mainstream. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, so the main guys give him like a 5. I said the indie scene 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I probably agree with that, honestly. And for AAA,
Mhm.
it's not. It ain't great right
Right.
now. Like, there's
Mhm.
great games, but it's like the state that everybody seems to be in right now is not good
Right.
in AAA. Indie, I agree. I think indie's kind of like for the last couple of years have been kind of
All right, guys, can
carrying
you guys
things.
hear me?
Yeah, we get you.
Yeah, we
Okay, I'm sorry, my Steam Deck died again, so I'm gonna have to get that thing charged up. Like, damn, I thought I was all ready and prepared. I thought I done charged it the night on the ride up here and everything like that, and it still wasn't ready for that action, man. I gotta see if there's something wrong with the battery or if it's just Windows trying to update shit all the time. But this camera that I got, I mean, my phone camera is better than the web camera I was using. I didn't bring my actual whole camera set up with my 4K camera or nothing like that this time. I was just trying to go cheap and easy. But anyways, so Yobi, you understood the question I was asking before
Yes,
my
yes.
Steam Deck decided to kick me up out of here. And you put it, if I thought I heard right,
Mhm.
you put it as high as a 9 or a 10. Is that
Wait.
right?
Hold on. No. Okay, I
Oh,
did,
you're like, calm down.
no, but this how I did it. I said when it comes to like the mainstream folks, like the most popular studios of the day, like the AAAs and all that, they
Okay,
get
okay.
between 1 to 10, they get a 5.
Oh
But
shit.
then when it comes to
Gotcha.
the indie scene, who's low key been holding it gaming up for a minute, they get a 9.5 out of 10 because
Oh, okay.
on the popular side, you see a lot of downside. You see a whole bunch of bloating post COVID. Everybody try to downsize, bring it back to a viable standpoint, and also people aren't really from the outside looking in. People aren't really looking at trying to get into the gaming industry, especially at this point, looking like damn. I want to get into the gaming industry, but I'm seeing layoffs every single week from this studio, that studio, that studio, that studio. Everybody's losing their job, but only people who not really losing their jobs on a scale rating is a lot of executives ain't losing their job, but a lot of the down people, who's up under them are losing their jobs when it comes to the AAA. But the indie scene, I give them a 9.5 out of 10 because they're putting out games where a lot of people ignore, and they end up doing a lot of damage on a gamer point. Like for example, a few years ago, there's this game came out. It's called Neon Abyss. Oh my god, it was so damn good. It was Neon Abyss. It was Katana Zero. It was Dead Cells. It was I'm missing one. It was a few more games that came out. But like I said, these was like not really known studios, but those games got a boost from Game Pass, if I'm not mistaken. I ended up buying all those games. Those are great. So yeah, indie scene 9.5 out of 10. AAA scene, I give him a 5 out of 10.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Mhm.
If you were to put all of it together, what score would you give it?
Ooh, all of it together, combine it,
Mm, just gaming in general.
7.5.
7.5. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Question to you, Matt. Same thing.
Yo. I mean, I agree with the sentiment of what Yobi said there. Like I said, there's a bunch of AAA games that are releasing that are really great and people love them, and I'm excited for a lot of them, or at least a couple to end out the year. But just the state, given the state that AAA gaming is in as an industry, I mean, you got to dock some sort of points for that because it's not good in that regard. Um, and just like Yobi said, I think indies in a few ways are carrying a certain segment of gaming right now that I feel AAA is kind of neglected. Not even just this generation, probably for like the past 10 years, honestly. But if I had to give it a rating altogether, I'd probably say I'm
You might
around.
have to add Yobi again, Matt, here in a little bit. He just dropped out on accident.
All right, yeah, I'll get him.
I can't do anything from over here, unfortunately.
I'm around where Yobi's at, probably a 6.5 to a 7. I'm in that area. It's hard to. It feels bad to give it a 7 because like gaming's my thing, and there's a lot of shit I'm excited for. But at the same time, I mean, we'll talk about stuff today, news and whatnot, where it's just like it's just baffling. It's baffling and it's sort of depressing at the same time. So I think 6.5 to 7. I give the whole industry.
All right. Well, I don't know how much people are gonna like this. I'm not sure how much Yobi's gonna like it or whatnot. I'm gonna give it a 6.
Mm-hmm.
I think about 4 of those points are earned from indies and AA studios. Um, I, I'd like to say an 8, but here's why I don't say that, and I knock it down a whole staggering 2 points. You're putting out games that can die.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was thinking about it just on the drive up to Colorado. I was just thinking about it, and I was gonna tweet something out, and then I just kind of just didn't because I just didn't know how to say it exactly, and I still don't really know exactly how to say it. But I feel like there was definitely a time while growing up, pretty much all the way up until like later in the 360 era, where it kind of didn't matter what the game was, it just couldn't die.
Yeah.
And when I mean die, I don't mean have a low player count. I mean completely unplayable.
Yes.
Like you cannot play it. Like you throw mag into your PS3, don't matter. Can't play it.
Yep.
And unless somebody goes above and beyond and does something that's probably going to break some sort of code of conduct somewhere, you can't play that game.
Yep.
So as time has, elapsed, and here we are now in 2024, 2 generations after, you could even say 2.5 generations almost after the ability for something like that to really happen, like on a regular basis. And you just look at each big company and you see a game that if it died, for the most part, would be in big trouble. And then you see people from the outside looking in, somebody like a Sony that doesn't really have their own thing like that, right? Just kind of, I mean, they had one of the biggest failures of all time when they tried to enter that exact kind of with it. They tried to enter it, but not be it, and it really didn't work. Right, where it's like we're not exactly live service because you could buy the game and you get all this, but it plays like a.
Yeah.
I like that's why I give the whole gaming industry a 6 right now, and I said I give 4 of those points. The 4 out of 6 of those points I give to AA and below.
Yeah.
These big companies that have the money to turn that kind of like that 2 that they're getting into an 8 or a 9 or hell even a damn near a 10, right? I feel like their mind isn't really focused on making a good game. Their mind is just focused on making something that they can repeatedly profit off of. Just fun
Yes.
enough. Right? Just fun enough, but not like really like and see, this is where I kind of feel bad for the developers, because the developers are just doing their job, right? And I'm sure they got
Yeah.
great ideas. And I'm sure that they go out of the way to implement more fun into the game. But at the end of the day, they can't, tell you, hey, this entire idea doesn't work. They have to go talk to somebody else about the
Yep.
lay of the land when it comes to the game. And usually the person that's in control of the lay of the land of the game is also being told by somebody else, hey, you need to make sure to make this make sense to get to be able to profit off of it.
Yeah. Budgets,
And
time constraints.
yeah, budget, time constraints, and then the idea of quality, which isn't really, I don't really feel like it's respected very well in gaming.
Okay.
So like, and I don't even think it's respected by the platforms. The only person I could say that kind of respects like the art within the game, I feel like, is probably Nintendo. They probably have the biggest respect for it.
Yeah. I agree
Because
with that.
they understand that you don't need the highest end of all this stuff to have a good time. They can make a mountain out of a molehill. And and I don't really see all these other people, some of these other, companies like who the hell asked for mocap in Concord?
Dude.
Who would have
I
thought that
don't
somebody
know.
needed that?
I don't know, man.
And then like for Redfall or whatnot, like that game was clearly supposed to be a live service game.
Mm-hmm.
So you notion that game as to be a live service. The pieces that are missing within that game may have made sense if they followed the plan, but then they didn't. And then they just kind of gave us like, essentially they gave us like the foundation with like with like what do they call this? The architects use the like little map things.
Oh, I don't know. I think layouts. I'm not sure.
Yeah. They essentially just gave us like a layout with the foundation of the game.
Yeah.
Talking about a blueprint.
Yeah,
There you
thank
go.
you. A blueprint.
There
Yes,
you
a
go.
blueprint. They essentially gave us a blueprint and launched it as such. And so I brought you a example from Sony. I brought you an example from PlayStation. There's plenty of examples from third party. There's plenty.
Yep.
But I can't really think of too many examples. Or how about this example? Like, if I'm going to say anything about Nintendo, I'd say maybe they're sometimes a little too comfortable with having such a low end hardware.
Oh yeah, they're very
That
comfortable with that.
sometimes they do allow something like the Pokemon games to come out looking a little rough. So I'm not saying that they're completely like they're completely like perfect, but I think they figured out a way to use their hardware to the maximum amount and make it make sense, to the point where we're like, this is struggling. Like, like I see what you're doing, but we just need a little bump, just a little bump, compared to like Xbox and PlayStation, where it's like, All right, I might as well just buy a fucking PC at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Makes a lot of sense.
like, am I out of pocket with saying any of that stuff? I need to know what Yobi thinks about what I just got done saying.
So I don't believe you're out of pocket because I feel like, how can I say this? Damn it, Mac, go first because I need some time to think on this because I had something I want to say, then I just lost the train of thought that quick. I apologize.
No, you're not. You're not out of pocket. You're not out of pocket with that because I mean, like especially towards Nintendo, just gaming in general right now is like it's a lot of trend chasing, and that's from many different people. That's from third parties. That's from PlayStation. That's from Xbox. That's from pretty much anybody but Nintendo. And Nintendo, for whatever reason, because they keep putting out just hits all the time, they don't really need to chase a trend. As for like everywhere else, like there's a lot of stuff from Xbox I'm excited for. I want to be excited for stuff from PlayStation. I know there's supposed to be some state of play later, maybe sometime this upcoming week. Maybe that'll have some stuff there that we can all get excited for. I'm looking forward to that. But like, it's just outside of that, it's like I have my things I'm excited for, and outside of that, it feels very bleak. It feels really bleak outside of like what I'm excited for, which is a weird feeling because normally it's the stuff I'm excited for, and then I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. All the other things. But like the last, I don't know, 2-3 years, it's like the stuff I'm excited for, and then everything else just feels, God, this is bad. This is going in a very bad way. And yeah, I mean, like as far as your rating, a 6 out of 10, I mean, yeah, it's pretty spot on, honestly, given how things are going. News that's dropped this week, news that dropped last week, news that's been dropping all year. It's pretty spot on, giving it a 6 out of 10 right now.
Okay. Yobi, any final thoughts before we get up on to the first topic of today?
Yeah. To piggyback what both you guys said, now I got a better understanding. When it comes to, you got Microsoft and you got PlayStation, like Xbox, PlayStation, Microsoft, Sony. It seems like both of these companies, they have in their mind what they want to do and how they want to attack it. And they have the game plan to do it. Now, this is the low levels, right? But then you got management, CEOs, investors. And I understand investors, they need their money. We all know that. But I feel like it's too many cooks in the kitchen trying to tell the chef how to make his food. Instead of you trusting the chef with his people to get the job done. But you got people who's coming over and trying to dig into like, yo, if you trust me to do the job, let me do the job. Y'all understand return on investment, all the other shit. You got to let the people cook. Now, in comes, because you got 1 and 2 right here. And you got Nintendo over here just looking like, yeah, I see y'all. Y'all still can't get the shit done, right? But Nintendo just like, they got an eye poking over there, but they just steady focus. You got these guys, so, oh, PlayStation is the king, Xbox is the king. No, Nintendo is number 1. We're not saying it because we're a fan, but we're just looking at how it is. How many times, and Matt and Ham, how many times have you seen Nintendo drop the ball this generation? Like, can any of you guys name me one time?
It's tough.
Like other than their whole controller scandal thing that they had,
Yeah,
that was like back in like 2020 or something like that, or
Oh, the stick
2019.
drift, yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, like it's nothing.
They've been holding it down,
They
right?
they got beef with other people, but don't nobody got beef with Nintendo.
Exactly. So Nintendo got their head screwed on tight. They got like a little loose screws and little shady shit they do, but you barely aside from the lawsuit, Ham and Matt, you barely see Nintendo in the news about anything when it comes to gaming that's not really negative. It's always Xbox or PlayStation hogging the news, hogging the news, hogging the news. They're fighting. Nintendo just, y'all can fight all you want. Nintendo's holding it down. So it's
Nintendo like the people that pull up at the stoplight and like there's a fight going on in the middle of the street and they just drive around it.
right. Yeah.
They're just like, okay, that's
Right.
cool. But all
Do I
right.
have anything else to say? I think that's it. I think, yeah, that's it. I don't know what else to say.
No, you're good. I find it fun that we're talking about Nintendo because this has to do with the first topic. Let's go on ahead and get into the very first one, which is Palworld developer. Palworld developer Pocket Pair responds to Nintendo Pokemon lawsuits, says it's unaware of the patents it's accused of infringing. Palworld developer Pocket Pair has responded to Nintendo and the Pokemon Company's share patent infringement lawsuit with a statement that says it's unaware which patents it's being accused of infringing. Overnight, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company announced the company has taken legal action against fellow Japanese developer Pocket Pair, alleging Palworld dubbed Pokemon with guns by fans. I mean, it's true. But anyways, infringes multiple patent rights. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company are seeking an injunction and compensation for damages. Pocket Pair said it will begrudgingly investigate the patent infringement claims while continuing to update Palworld despite the lawsuit and apologize to players left concerned about the future of the game. That is pretty much okay. Here's the full statement from Pocket Pair. Actually, let me just get to it. All right, it says, here's Pocket Pair's full statement in full regarding the lawsuit. Yesterday, a lawsuit was filed against our company for patent infringement. We have received notice of this lawsuit and will begin the appropriate legal proceedings and investigations into the claims of patent infringement. At this moment, we are unaware of the specific patents we are accused of infringing upon, and we have not been notified of such details. Pocket Pair is a small indie company based in Tokyo. All right, yada yada yada. So I feel like when you don't know why in this specific situation, like maybe I'm just out of my mind saying this. But I feel like if you don't know why, then they probably don't have a lot. Is that wild to think, or
No.
is because I feel like if it was obvious, then Pocket Pair would be nervous.
But exactly. Also, like, so whenever this news dropped, I was like, oh, because their creatures in the game look like Pokemon. Okay. Apparently, that's not even it. Like
No.
they're not suing them for that. It's for other reasons. It's like, well, the most obvious reason would be because they infringe on the designs of their pals or Pokemon, whatever you want to call them. They infringe on the design. I'm like, well, if you're not suing them for that, And that's like the thing that everybody thinks that you maybe possibly could sue them for. Then what are you suing them for? I mean, like, is it something in the gameplay? Is it like, do they not care that they even look like Pokemon? Do they just care that that they have guns? Like, like, I'm trying to figure out what I'm interested to find out what they're actually suing them for. Because if Pocket Pair genuinely doesn't know, then I agree with you. I don't think they have really a case. And who knows, maybe we're wrong and they do have a case, but it's like if Pocket Pair really doesn't know, I think at this point it just feels like a scare tactic.
Yeah, it just sounds a little like, I don't know. I don't know. Usually, maybe Pocket Pair has some like psychopath working there, right? That is so vehemently like sure that they didn't do anything wrong, but like, I mean, we watched plenty of Ewu, right? Where we're like, this motherfucker knew exactly what he did, but he's saying he doesn't know, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
Like we watched plenty of that, but in this situation, like there's so much, like you're so little, like Pocket Pair is so little compared to like Pokemon, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you, in my opinion, would have to kind of have a good understanding of what you did wrong. And I think that would maybe have them kind of like sweating, just knowing, oh crap, they finally got us, right? But the way that they're coming out and reacting to this is just like we honestly don't know what they want. And from what it seems like to me, is it's just like a greedy company that just wants to get something out of, we see that you're using our idea really good and we want to bank off of it just a little bit. Like we just want some of your we kind of want to like let you know that you're the little bro and we're the big bro and we'll get money from you if we need to. Don't be working my block kind of shit, right?
Yes. I bet you if Power flopped, like I feel like they waited a little bit to see if it would die. And once it didn't die, they probably started raising their eyebrow like, okay, well, we got to make something off of this. And so this is what we got. Is what it feels like. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it feels like.
Yeah. I do not disagree. Okay. I wanted to go on ahead and move off of that. Just give me a quick second to get something done.
What about Yobi?
Oh yeah, Yobi, what you got to say about this whole thing? I completely forgot about that because we've been talking about the Switch and Nintendo for so long now.
I'm pretty sure Pocket Pair seen this coming a mile away. I hope it works out for all parties involved. But I got smoke with Nintendo about how all this turnaround. Like I said, we all knew this was going to happen. It was bound to happen. Number one, I got smoke with Nintendo / Game Freak. One, they're mad, and how do I know? But I'm calling it how I see it. I feel like they're mad at Pocketware. That's it. That's the name. Pocketware. Pocket Pair. I feel like they're mad at Pocket Pair because one, how they made a game, Power World, that's called Pokemon with Guns, but they made a Pokemon-like game that we wanted Nintendo and Game Freak to make for years. For years, we've been wanting y'all to go where Pocket Pair did with Power World. We wanted you guys to do that for years, but you used the same boring, repetitive formula. And I'm gonna be real, my personal opinion, Pokemon ain't been shit since Pokemon Black 1 or 2. That was the last Pokemon game I felt a real challenge. I done got my ass kicked in that game so many times. Even when I had all my Pokemon max, I still got my ass kicked. Had to go back and start over again until use strategy. But after that, the Pokemon game just begin easier and easier and easier and easier. My last Pokemon game I bought was Pokemon Sword and Shield. After that, I wipe my hands with the Pokemon franchise. I'm done with them. The only Pokemon game I'm playing right now for them is Pokemon Unite on the Switch. 2, supposedly you suing them from copyright infringement from some of their power that look like Pokemons. There's a case there. Supposedly it's because they have their Pokemon like, I mean their Pokeball like to catch their monsters or whatever. But here's the thing. If that's one of the reasons why you didn't go after all of these many Pokemon clone games that's came out through the years. Y'all didn't do nothing to Tim. Y'all didn't do nothing to Nexomon. Y'all didn't do nothing to it's a Monster Rancher, some monster game. Y'all didn't and
Was it Slime Rancher?
Slime Ranch, it was one of them. It's a whole bunch of them, bro. It's a list of them that I wrote it down. I forgot to say, but it's a list of Pokemon like games, and Nintendo didn't have nothing to say. But all of a sudden, Power, you got something to say about Power because Power made millions, and it was in the headlines. Oh, 1 million here, 2 million, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's kind of corny.
Yeah.
I understand, but it's corny as hell. It's super corny. And number 2, number 3. I have one. Oh, and if we want to be super real, I'm pretty sure the developers and the IP holders of that IP they don't look at it any other way. But if you go and do your research, there was a video game IP that came out years ago, right? Like years and years ago. And then Pokemon came out 10 years after that. The IP is called Shin Megami Tensei. They call that the Pokemon game for adults. But that was Pokemon before Pokemon for what it is today. If we want to be real, do your research on that. Pokemon took their whole damn style. Flavor for flavor, copy for copy. 10 years later, they came out with their own game. Tensei Megami Tensei, Shin Megami Tensei, they did business with Nintendo, so I guess they're good, cool. But if they wanted to be real petty and then see how much money Pokemon as an IP brought in between Nintendo, Game Freak, etc., I believe Shin Megami Tensei can have a nice little lawsuit in their hands. But like I said, they're in business together, so I don't ever see that happening. And that's all I gotta say about that. Nintendo and Game Freak, you guys are corny as hell. You mad because someone took the sauce that you stole, remixed it, and put it out and made it 10 times better than yours. So I look at it like this. Go through the lawsuit, whatever, do your thing. Xbox and PlayStation are doing business with Pocket Pair as well. So hopefully all that situation stays clean. When it's all said and done, Nintendo, y'all next Pokemon game, it better be on the reins of Power World, if not 10 times better. Because if not, I'm wiping my hands with the Pokemon IP. I already did. I don't expect nothing from the Pokemon IP going forward. I mean, I expect a game for them to make something, but I don't expect it to either do what Power is doing now. But I digress, bro.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say about that.
Imagine if they win this loss. Imagine if Nintendo wins this and they release just another dog shit Pokemon game.
Mhm.
Just a horrible Pokemon game. Like that's what they just don't want. They don't want the competition. They don't want the competition. And if like I said, if Power World would have flopped, we wouldn't hear. They would never even mention Power World. There'd never be this lawsuit. They wouldn't mention it. They just move on to the next Pokemon game, and it would be just like the last Pokemon game, and nobody would care. But because it had some success, they're like, okay, we want some of that money, or we want you out of here.
They want some of that money. They got their own damn money. See,
Yeah.
that's why I don't understand about Nintendo, man. man, Nintendo can release Pokemon starting Pikachu. And that shit would sell 50 goddamn millions. It could just have Pikachu on the game. Pikachu is the main character, nothing else. That game would sell. That game would sell buku money. Man, I'm sorry, Matt, but that shit irks me, bro. They
it's
corny,
petty.
bro. They corny,
It's
bro.
petty. It's incredibly petty.
Yeah, here's another little article on it as well that Loke shared. Can you guys see that on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
loading.
Nintendo Pokemon company Sues Palworld. Yeah. So I mean, I don't really know what else that needs to be said about this. It just kind of is more of a wait and kind of see thing. I feel like Pokemon and Nintendo is more or less hoping Pocket Pair like flips out after hearing this and does something irrational to like show off that they did do something wrong, or to like pretty much like take some sort of like plea deal kind of thing, you know what I mean? But like because I know that like intimidation tactics are a big deal,
of course,
in court, in courts and whatnot. And if you hear that somebody knows the person that lives on the corner of your street that just so happened to have a camera that's seen your car driving down the street, and like you haven't got to see that video yet, but you know you don't like that motherfucker that lives at the down the corner of your street, you gonna be a little nervous. You know what I mean? You gonna be a little nervous. So I feel like this is more of an intimidation tactic than it is anything else. But let's go on ahead and move on to the next topic that we have here.
if it is an intimidation tactic, Pocket Pair, please don't bow down to them. Go to court, fight that shit to the fullest Jones thing. And hey, now you got business with Microsoft and Sony in your back pocket. So if you got to use some of their laws, I say go for it, bro. But honestly,
oh shit, you said fight the power.
Pocket Pair needs to stay around because it's about damn time someone put the Pokemon IP feet to the fire to have Nintendo game actually go and do something different.
There's a little check right there. I mean, didn't we just get done talking about how all these companies are kind of like trying to they're trying to like pretty much like take people other people's idea in hopes of getting big with it. Well, lots of other companies have failed doing this.
Of course.
And it's crazy that we talked about just at the beginning of the show about how indies and small companies have been checking motherfuckers.
There you go.
We got Pocket Pair out here checking the goat in the game right now. Like, we got an indie company checking a whole ass first place runner right now, saying, yo, you either get your shit together or I'm gonna keep my shit and we gonna run through y'all.
Damn, the crazy thing about it, okay, check this out, right? Before we go to the next topic, I remember when they first announced the Nintendo Switch, right? Me and my brother was like, yo, we see what the Switch do, and we was in my mind, we was like, yo, that next Pokemon game go be crazy. We was thinking it's like open world, like going anywhere, like, you know, open world, like AAA type shit. And then we continue to see the Pokemon game that came afterwards. And honestly, I didn't play. It's one Pokemon game I didn't play. A Pokemon, what is Arceus?
Arceus.
If he was like, "Oh, this is the one," I'm like, "No. From what I saw, the videos and everything, I'm like, no. What, like I said, the Pokemon game I wanted from the Switch, how Pocket Pair did it. That's what I wanted from Nintendo to go. Like what I wanted is okay. Like you see on Pokemon Ash, you got him and his 3 friends or 4 friends walking around, getting into random battles, gym battles. You know, feeding your Pokemon. That is what Pokemon was, and Pocket Pair gave that to us. We wanted that in a video game format. and Nintendo definitely has the resources and everything to do it. Like,
100%.
let's not cap about that. They could do all that shit. And honestly, what Palworld did, Nintendo mad because that's money left on the table that they could have did that, and they could have did it and went crazy with it, but they decided not to. Nah, Palworld's like, yo, I see you got a little Pokemon. Palworld came in like, yo, Nintendo Game Freak, what's up? Nintendo's like, oh, word, I see you in court. So we just gotta wait and see how it all's gonna play out. I got me. I'm rooting for Palworld. I mean, I'm rooting for Pocketfield. I really hope like they come out. They come out of this.
I'm 100% with you on that one. I want Pocket Pair, and really any indie that's out here. I mean, hell, even the folks over the Chinese company that worked on Black Myth Wukong, like let these motherfuckers go. Like Pocket Pair, y'all over there with Black Myth and all y'all indie developers, let these motherfuckers know out here that A, you don't need $500 million to make a game.
No.
And B,
didn't they
just
say,
give the people what they want and they will buy it.
Right.
Like it's not that crazy.
Then Pocket Pair, they say how much did they say they spent to make this game? Like a few millions, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
bro, it was nothing compared to the money they made within the first couple hours.
Right.
When that game launched, it was I mean, bro, I even bought it. And I ain't even nice like that with that game.
They spent 1 billion yen, equivalent to $6.75 million.
And they already made all that money back. That's
they made that money back in like an hour.
Yeah.
Without the game even being fully out in like early stages. Yeah, game preview and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made that in a couple hours just off of the Xbox platform alone. Right. Not even Steam. And Steam was much crazier.
All I gotta say about this, bro, I got my money on Pocket Pair. I really hope it all works out in the end, and I hope Nintendo can come to a fair resolution. But we know Nintendo not, because when they go to court, they bro, Nintendo remind me of Vincent Mann. Every time Vincent Mann go to court, he never loses.
Oh Lord, what's crazy is like I see Netflix on my TV, and in the background it says Mr. McMahon. So I thought that was funny that you said that right in that moment. That was pretty ironic. But anyways, let's go on ahead and move on. We're still in the subject that is Nintendo right now, and we're talking about something that's unfortunate for Nintendo and actually unfortunate for them, instead of whatever they want to call, mishandling a fantastic IP that they have. This is actually unfortunate. Now I'm not going to talk about the spoiler, like really even get into the article too much, but yet again, another game that's heavily anticipated on is leaked. Anything y'all got to say about this? No way, right? No way.
I didn't even
Echoes of Wisdom Street Day broken 2 weeks ahead of release. Is this like a new IP or this like a old Zelda game remake?
No, it's the new Zelda game. It's a new Zelda, yeah.
I didn't even know that leaked. That's unfortunate.
Man. I'm gonna say this, bro. This generation of just this gaming industry, it's like, bro, I feel like when you do a leak, do leaks on like, how could I say this, bro? I don't know how to say this, but it's cool to have leaks, but not stuff like this. Like let Nintendo do that. Like let these companies. I'm pretty sure that they had a planned rollout to do this, because it's some Zelda freaks out there. They love the hell out of Zelda. I think it's just corny. Like people let people just be surprised, bro. Like why we always gotta, I'm gonna be first. I'm gonna be first. Like let people be surprised to see something new. Like stop leaking shit. I mean, I understand it, but damn, it sucks.
It does suck.
Yeah, that sucks.
It's a problem now, all these leaks, man. Do you see there was some news about The GTA leaks, or I guess it was tied to like Rockstar India. Someone from Rockstar India like got their account hacked, and
Uh-oh.
they got all that information, all that stuff we saw from GTA 6 like a couple years ago
Oh,
was all
oh,
from that one account.
he's about that 16-year-old kid who did that shit.
Yep. Yep. That's a
And,
problem, man.
and Matt, the thing that pissed me off about that, he was like, and people was like, "Oh, this game looks trash." They still making the fucking game. What are you talking about? Of course, it's not
No
gonna
shit,
look
it
like
looks
man.
trash,
It's
dude. It's
in
being worked on.
development. Like, what are you doing?
It's
Yeah,
like
I remember hearing. Um, I don't give a fuck if people don't like hearing this on this channel, but I was seeing a whole bunch of Xbox fans talking shit about Wolverine, and I was like, "Do you
dude,
guys have a brain? Like, I'm a big fan of the Xbox
Same.
platform, but I don't fuck with some of these morons out here, man, that are looking at a game that's clearly nowhere near finished. And you're like, look at that dog shit. Look at this. And same motherfuckers that told you Redfall was beautiful and whatnot, but don't pay attention to the pre-alpha footage. Like, come on, man. Y'all can't be the same motherfuckers saying, hey, you can't judge Redfall because this is pre-alpha footage, and you you looking at a game that ain't even like got a goddamn ain't even have a commercial yet. And you saying, "Oh, look at this game! It gotta be broken. They don't know what they're doing. Look at these. This looks terrible. The walls look bad." And it's like, man, whatever.
it's crazy.
Whatever.
It's corny, bro. Like niggas say what they want about the Wolverine that delete, bro. The game is in development. They still working on it. I'm pretty sure they had to push a few years back because the shit leaked. But when it gets close to release and they drop that first trailer, that shit is gonna look fire, and I can't wait.
100%.
All right, we definitely have a few more topics, so I want to get into them. The first one I found interesting.
Before you start, Ham,
What's up?
I should say, what's up, Ham, Matt, Yobi, just jumping by to say hi. I want everyone to know I've left the stables and not Xbox is my preferred platform. Bro.
Oh my goodness. Whatever.
That's definitely Osh's.
This man funny as hell, bro.
Man, it's ridiculous.
Oh,
but
Cozy.
A friend is Cozy. Oh, Cozy's here. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Cozy, what up, sweetheart?
I would love to ask her about this Nintendo League thing, but she doesn't care about Zelda, so we're just gonna move on.
I don't even know if Cozy can hear us.
I don't know either. She's probably muted. I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the next thing. A friend of the channel shared something. I'm more interested in what they shared. But they said you won't find a bigger Sarah Bond fan than me. Genuine person, real leader, brilliant sushi extraordinaire. But really what I cared about was what he quote tweeted that was under it, right? So let me go on ahead and click on this and then share this piece of the screen. Okay, that's great. Well, anyways, that's there anyway, so you can see it, and I'll just read it like it is. It says Xbox president Sarah Bond has a huge job, a mobile store, subscriptions, next gen hardware, maybe there it goes. Maybe a handheld while keeping Xbox traditional console gamers happy amid lots of change. At whoever this person is. Cecilia, and thank you. And and I profile Bond, her plans and her skill for now at Business Week. So let's go on ahead and hop into the article. But before we kind of read into the article at all, what do you guys think about the amount of work that she has ahead of her? Do you feel like she is, it's totally fine for her to have so many different positions to be the head of? Or do you feel like maybe this is starting to get to the point where, you feel like somebody else, or not somebody else, but like somebody should be like with her to help out, or maybe maybe she has assistants that we don't see. You know, you never know. But what do you guys think about all the different titles that this one person has?
It's a lot.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure she's got some assistants that are behind the scenes. We don't know
For
about.
sure.
Definitely has
I mean, you work at Microsoft for that big ass company.
Yeah.
You got a big ass title. I mean, my wife works for a grocery store, like she works for a certain part of a grocery store, and they do production, and even she needs like an assistant,
Of course.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like to think of somebody in her power that's like the head of a portion of a mega corporation, like that's something.
Mhm. She's got her assistant. She's got I mean, it doesn't change the fact that it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's also probably there's also, I mean, just from the outside looking in, there's probably also a little bit of conflict within.
Mhm.
I don't know so much about within Xbox as much as within Microsoft. In general about Xbox, I guess, but like, I mean, just her alone, she's got a lot on her plate going forward, especially, and that's not going to get any easier once. I know Phil's talked about retiring. Whenever that happens, it's not going to get any easier. She's going to have a lot more coming down on her plate. That's might be tough to handle, but I mean, as long as she seems up for it, God bless. I like Sarah Bond. I like her.
God bless. You don't know her. Like her.
I like her. I like her
Persona.
the image. Yes, her persona, the image that she portrays. I like that. I think that's nice. It's pleasant.
All right. Well, just to give a little added context, Dina Bass writes, as for the handheld issue, Phil Spencer keeps bringing up what a big fan he is of them. While no one is confirmed anything, Spencer said his requirement for an Xbox One is that it be that it be different. To Bond, who oversees hardware, that means channeling what's unique about Xbox. Key to Bond is making sure Xbox is for everyone. I want people to think no matter who you are, you can play. You can come to Xbox and find a game. She told us it's for you.
Agree.
Any additional thoughts before we move on to something else?
I honestly think a lot of Xbox's problem is Xbox feels more like a PC does, in that the highs are not going to necessarily be represented very highly. Like, there are PC games that are incredibly, insanely popular, and the PC crowd goes wild about, but because they don't necessarily have that sort of vocal audience, no one sees them.
Sure.
And I think some of my, I guess, I mean, no, this might be a little off topic, but when I think of some of the games I've had the most fun with, they've been games that are like not everyone's talking about.
Yobi, you shared this to me just a moment ago from Tom Warren talking about this article that we're talking about currently right now, saying a fun little anecdote from Dina Bass, Bloomberg's profile of Xbox president Sarah Bond. You can read the full feature here. At first, all right, let me just click on this whole thing, make it legible for everybody. But it says, at first, Bond and Spencer's personal styles clash, and the two sought out Microsoft Human Resource Chief Kathleen Hogan for coaching.
So
An unusual step that Hogan found admirable. Bond recalls Spencer and others at Microsoft telling her that her tendency to push the envelope and not let something go was new to them. That's wild. Uh, she says she found that Spencer's communication style sometimes left her unsure of what he actually wanted from her. At one point, she struck a post-it note to her computer with some advice about interacting with him. I'm not being paid to do what he says. It reads. I'm being paid to do what he meant. Oof.
That's confusing.
I like this drama.
It's rough.
This is we have our own little soap opera going on here.
Yeah, it is. I'm kind of interested in it, and I want to see. Okay. Oh, of course. I hate these motherfuckers.
What happened?
Is it blocked off?
Of course.
No,
of course.
I actually
it says create account to continue to read. And, I ain't doing all that.
No, yeah. Check me out. Just keep going. I got a subscription to Bloomberg for like $1 for like 3 months. So just keep going on, and once I get it loaded up, I got you.
I think I finished reading it.
No. This is an antidote. They got like a whole big article of it.
Yeah. I need the rest of it because I finished reading this part already.
All right, cool. I got you.
Finished it all.
Finished it all. This person in the chat below says something interesting. He says, interesting, most people are reading this with a negative tone. The fact that they took steps to better understand one another instead of constantly trying to clash is a sign of leadership. Just because it starts talky doesn't mean it blossomed into. I'm trying to continue to read what I wrote. Okay. Doesn't mean it can't blossom into something productive. Okay. Sure. But like, I'm not going to lie that it does. I mean, that just sounds like that sounds rough. No matter how you put that, it doesn't sound like two people that are on the same page. And it sounds like it took a minute, not like it took a quick conversation. It took a little while to get it kind of back to a comfortable space. Right. Did you get it? Yeah, Yobi? Yeah,
you want me to share my screen?
Yeah, go on ahead.
Yeah, okay. How do I do that again?
At the bottom of this of the screen there should be a present button.
Present. Okay, there we go. And okay, share screen. Ooh. All right.
And we do have a super chat that I wanted to get to real quick. We got a couple of them. So before you get started, Sir X-Man with the 14-month super chat says, "Hello everybody, miss you guys too."
Mr.
And AEC Vic says, "What up? What's up, Cozy? Now we can start the show." This disrespectful every single time. All right. Anyways, yo, go on ahead. Do your thing, brother.
Cool. All right, can you guys see it?
No.
You can't.
Let me go on ahead and put it on the screen, or maybe, yeah. Let me go ahead and do that. I got you. There it is.
You got it?
Yep, it's on there.
If you want to read it, go ahead.
I can't see that, bud.
All right, you can't see it?
I cannot. You're gonna have to like zoom it in like crazy, or you could just read it for yourself.
All right, how do I? Okay, fuck it. I read it. It says,
I think it's Control Plus. You should Control Plus it a couple of times, anyways, because it's like impossible to see it for me. It looks like Scrabble.
About now, can you see it now?
2 more times.
All right, 1, 2. Oh. Okay, how do
Lord, I just got the waist of.
Yeah, how do I zoom out? Got it. There we go. You see it now?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go on ahead and read it though. It's still too small for me to read, but I can see the words now.
It says ex-boss Vice President Sarah Bond had reason to be optimistic when she sat down at the desk in her Seattle home office an hour before midnight on the 25th of April of last year. About 15 months earlier, Microsoft Court has announced it was spending $69 billion to buy Activision Blizzard, ABK, maker of Call of Duty and Candy Crush, a deal that would be the largest acquisition in the history of gaming. One of the last major barriers remaining was the UK's Competition and Market Authority, and the regulator was scheduled to send its decision that night. Bond and her team had gathered on a video call where the company's outside counsel for the case would share the news. The CMA had initially raised concerns, but Microsoft made some concessions and the CMA narrowed its probe, which onlookers and company executives took as an encouraging sign. Bond's boss, Microsoft Gaming Chief Executive Officer Phil Spencer, wasn't there, opting instead to abide by his customary 10 p.m. bedtime. Okay. That boy go to sleep early as hell. I respect that. He go to sleep early as hell. That boy go to sleep at 10.
Why am I leaving? Why am I leaving this podcast today knowing his bedtime? Like, I don't care about that.
Because you should.
It's important news.
Oh man,
That's
You should know
great.
his bedtime.
This is a lot more news than I needed.
right. It said then the Microsoft team heard that the CMA had rejected the deal. In this explanation, the agency wrote that it was worried the company would leverage Activision assets such as Call of Duty to dominate the nascent cloud gaming market. It went on to say it wasn't satisfied with Microsoft's plan to ensure that Activision's games would remain widely available to competing gaming platforms. Several staffers broke down in tears. What?
Wait, what?
Wait, huh?
Several staffers broke down in tears? Oh my god.
Wait, was it bad tears or happy tears? Bro.
What the hell? Who's breaking down in tears? What's going on here?
Hell nah. I mean, to that recollection, Ham and panel, maybe it could have been the staffers who work up under the CEOs, like the game developers. Maybe they cried. You know what I'm saying?
That's wild, but okay.
Yeah, maybe.
That's crazy. Okay. Bond managed to hold
Sounds
it
fun.
together. How I feel right now doesn't matter. She recalls thinking. Almost immediately, she began to focus on the rationale for the ruling, looking for an alternative to accepting defeat. There was no precedent for the CMA changing its mind in such a situation. But Bond, who'd been a rising star at Microsoft since joining in 2017, had to try. She had volunteered to lead the effort in handling Activision-related regulatory approvals. It was a task that meant months of weekends poring over spreadsheets and regulatory documents with her merger team, most of whom were women. Shout out to the women, and shuttling back and forth across the Atlantic. She was soon back on a plane to the UK to give it one last shot. Okay. Bond's
Why does she
strategy
sound like a fucking settler? Like, who wrote this?
hold on. Let's see who wrote this.
Like, she sounds like she's like
wrote this.
taking over a nation. Like, what the fuck is happening right
It
now?
was written by Dina Bass and Cecilia D. Anastasio. That's who wrote this.
Man, they should write a book. They should write a fictional story.
Oh God.
Because goodness gracious, I don't know what planet I'm on anymore.
It says Bond's strategy was to satisfy the CMA's desire for structural changes rather than to simply offer promises of good behavior. She told the industry that Microsoft was willing to sell off some rights to stream its video games. This will help mollify the CMA's concerns without cutting too much into what Bond saw as the real prize, a foothold in the enormous mobile market. Boom. In mid-October, the CMA announced it would indeed reverse its previous rejection, with the agency's senior director of mergers saying the changes made it a new and substantially different deal. To celebrate, Bond invited the merger team to her living room for a champagne toast. 2 weeks later, Spencer promoted her to president of Xbox. A lot of my upbringing was grounded in instilling in me that I was good enough. It was bound to be a difficult job. Microsoft viewed as a fading giant in the games industry. The Xbox is a distant third in the console market, behind Sony Group Corp's PlayStation and Nintendo's Corp Switch. Oh, you look, they slick. It said behind Sony Group PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. No, it should have been behind Nintendo Switch and Sony, but we're not gonna go there. I see what they did there, but okay. because we all know Nintendo is number one. A former T-Mobile United States Incorporated executive, Vaughn was brought on to apply her expertise in telecommunications and subscription businesses to shake up the traditional gaming business model of selling consoles and exclusive games for them. 7 years into her tenure, she can still seem like a newcomer in the industry whose prominent leaders are often lifers. And given the demographics of the industry, a black woman who tends to wear 4-inch heels is easy to pigeonhole as an outsider. Okay, the next one. At a time when blockbuster console games cost $70 and hundreds of millions of dollars to develop, the action has been moving steadily toward mobile games. The overall market has stagnated in recent years, and the number of households buying consoles hasn't budged much in more than a decade. Companies are going to move into different types of gaming and win over different types of gamers. According to the Entertainment Software Association, half of U.S. gamers today are women, and 25% are non-white, mirroring the demographics of the country itself. The third that's concerning me is the player growth. That gives me real pause, Vaughn said in an interview in March. Okay. In her role leading Xbox's hardware development and relationships with publishers, Vaughn splits herself between shoring up its traditional gaming business and reaching into untapped areas. She's hinted at a new Xbox hardware. Spencer has repeatedly professed his interest in a potential handheld device, while the company has also begun to release Xbox exclusive games on competing console and promoting Netflix X subscriptions that don't need a console at all. In theory, buying Activision with its popular titles across Xbox, PlayStation, PCs, and phones helps Microsoft on all these fronts. But if Bond is going to pull off this transformation, she's going to have to navigate her division through some pain first. Microsoft has already cut more than 2,650 games dropped this year, with a quarter of the cuts announced in mid-September. These are part of industry-wide job losses totaling to 11,500. This gaming unit is operating under a challenging set of revenue and profit goals, according to people familiar with Xbox's business, who declined to be named while discussing private financial matters. Ominously, the mobile gaming market has softened significantly since Microsoft decided to buy Activision. In part, this is the result of changes that Apple Incorporated has made to its privacy policies, making it harder to find new customers on iOS devices. The largest source of revenue for the industry, global consumer spending on mobile games dropped by 2% in 2023 to $107.3 billion, second consecutive annual decline, according to Sensor Tower Incorporated. Bond acknowledges the headwinds while also insisting the gravest risk of being too conservative. The opportunity on the other side is way bigger for all of us, she says. Still, almost a year after pushing through the deal of the century, Bond's biggest challenge may be proving that doing so was worth the effort. Let's see. Nice picture of Sarah Bond at some event. Okay. Bond with Chris Garler at the GDC conference. Okay, Bond grew up around many of the classical trappings of America's success. Her father was a Division I college football player who went on to become a telecommunications executive. Her mother was a beauty queen. Bond went on to British. Okay, let me just scale through this because we're trying to get to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your nitty gritty. Oh.
All right. Where we at? Okay. There's another one. Let's see. When Bond joined Microsoft, she saw similar dominance in the gaming industry. Console companies had thrived during their own growth era, but had become set in their ways at a time when shifting customer habits demanded imaginative changes. Xbox was losing ground to PlayStation. It would have been easy to just do whatever Sony did, but when Spencer needed to fill a spot vacated by a retiring business development executive in 2017, he was compelled by the idea of someone like Bond, who not only came from outside the industry, but also had specific experience in mobile. Looking at the games industry, it was pretty clear that the things we knew were not going to be enough to get us to where we were going, he says. I like that shirt. Gaming for everyone. That's fire.
Gaming isn't for everyone.
Shut up.
Oh, cozy.
Okay. When he hired Bond, Spencer warned her that the job was going to be frustrating. Microsoft is notoriously a difficult company for those who come in at executive levels. Bond will be replacing someone who'd been at Xbox for almost 2 decades and reporting to a guy who'd been at Microsoft since he was an intern. Colleagues, colleagues and says she's a consensus builder who quickly set about winning over her team. No one can just see a situation and quickly grasp exactly what's going on faster than Sarah, said Chris Charla, one of her reports, who oversees any developers. He also remembers how, during Bond's first GDC for Microsoft, she agreed to an impromptu spelunking expedition through San Francisco underground tunnels, even though she was wearing heels. Oh, she a gangster.
What?
In heels? Shit. Respect.
Spelunking? What's going on?
You never heard
What
that
is
word.
happening, man? What the fuck
She's
is happening?
spelunking. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness! We gotta get out of here.
Yeah, and this next argument, you read this
This
already.
article is too much.
Yeah, you read this part right here. Ham, the Bond special process style class and the two-sided Microsoft. All right. Questions of chemistry aside, there was bound to be tension surrounding Bond's role at Xbox. Spencer had hired her, after all, to force his operation to take the uncomfortable step of moving beyond the device it existed to promote. For the last 2 or 3 Xbox generations, we've been selling consoles to the same 200 million global households, he says. I'm happy to do that, but it's not really growing the business. Right. 3 months after Bond started, Microsoft introduced Game Pass, one of the major planks of its strategy to reach new kinds of gamers. The subscription service, which was introduced at $10 monthly, give users access to a wide range of games from Microsoft-owned studios, as well as from games publishers they have partnerships with. Eventually, people would have access to Game Pass on PCs, mobile devices, and smart televisions. Game Pass was a potentially fundamentally change to Microsoft operation and business model. Instead of seeking big paydays that come with the release of a few blockbuster games, it will focus on making a steady revenue stream from its diverse game library. There's a difference between managing a network effect and maximizing the value of a single game, Bond says. That meant taking the risk of undermining the company's existing model. But she says, if we don't do it, someone else is going to. Game Pass was also a major adjustment for publishers. To sweeten the deal, Microsoft now spends $1 billion a year getting third-party games on the service. A largesse has been more than enough to win over small publisher to whom it offers flat fees for millions of dollars up front to include their titles, along with a portion of the subscription revenue and a promise of exposure they couldn't count on getting otherwise. This last part, along with a portion of subscription revenue and the promise of exposure they couldn't count on getting otherwise. There's a lot of people in the community saying years ago, oh, it's not profitable. These people, they're not seeing no returns. Like, stop it. Whatever. Mutual Festival was appearing in March of this year's GDC when Bond showed up for a meet and greet at San Francisco event space known for its chicken and waffles.
Oh yeah.
Dude, what is this?
Who doesn't want the chicken and waffles? I'll
Can-
take your chicken and waffles.
Oh man, I am ready. I am ready.
Oh, you're ready to have your chicken and waffles taken?
I'm ready to just
Winning Bond
just
over
get
can be a
out of
big
here.
deal. Given the roles she played, yo, why they had to put that in there? Played and determine which games feature Xbox periodic showcases, events that could propel obscure developments into household names. Publishers vied for her attention from the moment they heard her heels clicking across the floor. That she
Oh
stopped.
my god! Like
This
is
catch
what-
up describing her as like a hot chick or
People pay for this.
Wicked Witch of the West.
They heard her heels clicking across the floor that she stopped to play a game about stocking shelves at a Japanese convenience store to the Formula Simulator.
Oh my god!
Oh,
That whole paragraph is silly.
I'm gonna scheme over this. Okay, how much? 34 million. Strauss Zelnick, CEO. Yeah, Strauss Zelnick, boy, that.
Please tell me it's over.
I'm just gonna do this. Speaks on Holly calling her thoughtful, warm, also knowing that she will not be dissuaded from accomplishing Microsoft goals, even when they don't align with its own. Take-Two continues to have a limited presence in Game Pass. Zelnick says he doesn't think offering big-time games at a release date make any sense at all. Of course, it don't make sense to you because you got Grand Theft Auto Red Dead Redemption, 2 games y'all only make. Stop it. Of course, it don't make sense. Microsoft was confirming about the code Yeah, I don't care what he got to say.
Oh my god, it keeps going.
Yeah, I'm just for to skim through to see anything, and that's that.
This is an adventure.
Yo, you're killing me. This. Oh my
No,
god,
that's
I
it. You
did
did no
not
go.
know that
Go
this
on, go
was
on,
the
go on.
article.
Yeah.
This
Just
is
go.
nuts.
I think what we got to is more important.
This is killing me.
Yeah, science.
You're killing us, Smalls.
Just
She's,
go ahead, son. Just go ahead. Just go. I'm just skimming through it, see if I find
she's
anything. interesting.
spelunking. She's eating chicken and
Yo, that's
waffles.
spelunky chicken and waffles.
She's
Hill
clicking.
is
Wait,
crazy.
she cooks her hills that she spelunks and eats chicken and waffles? Sounds
Yeah,
like a
that's just-
legend.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. That's it, Sam. I mean, that's
I
it. Sam.
think we're all set on that now. I don't even want to talk
I
about
didn't
that
even hear
topic anymore.
crazy. Yo, the chicken and waffles, heels clicking. That's crazy.
Wow, that what
I don't even know what to say. That was just stuff.
what journalist can we abuse for that?
I said their name at the beginning. Hold on,
was,
I'll go back to it.
Yeah,
The
I
names
want some
are
journalists to be abused. I'm sorry.
Janine D'Anastasio. I don't
Side
think that was
note:
right.
the Xbox Ambassador program is ending, so
Yeah.
I am fully
Cozy.
able to abuse people.
Cozy, the
I
people
was
who
gonna
wrote
bring
this
that up.
article
I
is
was just
Dina
waiting
Bass,
for this.
Dina Bass and Cecilia Anastasio. Those of you want to go ahead.
Okay,
Okay, cool.
because they need
They
to be
wrote that
bashed.
like it was a storybook. Like it was.
That's crazy.
At first, it
we
wasn't that
back down.
bad, but then I was like, okay, you need to be publicly attacked.
I didn't appreciate it.
Nah, both of them need to be publicly attacked, publicly shamed. They need to be like surrounded by people and like hit with bats or something.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, Cozy, real.
Yes.
Yo,
They
they
threatened
said
them bodily
heels
harm.
clicking, chicken
We
and
would get
waffles.
better
Hey.
journalists if more
hell
their
going on?
journalists feared to be awful. Feared being awful and bad journalists.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong, but Jesus.
I
All right,
don't
well,
agree with
long
attacking
ass-
journalists.
I mean, I don't think anybody needs to agree with that.
Journalists, though, so maybe that's.
I think that's insane. All right, well, moving on to the next topic.
Yes, sir.
Jeff Keighley trying to win back some Xbox love with his most recent post saying next Thursday, Phil Spencer will host a Xbox digital event at Tokyo Game Show with news and updates for fans. So let's go on ahead and hear what he had to say. Can you hear it?
I actually can't.
Can you hear it now, Mr. Krabs?
I have watched
Yeah,
it, but I cannot hear it for some
It's
reason.
probably because of just a second. Here we go.
You pooped on me.
Konnichiwa.
Probably something like that, right?
He opens
Wow.
it with Konnichiwa. He opened. He literally opened.
Konnichiwa.
He
you hear
literally
it now?
opens it with
Here
Konnichiwa.
from Xbox. And I'd like to invite players in Japan, across Asia, and around the world to tune in to the Xbox Tokyo Game Show 2024 broadcast on Thursday, the 26th of September at 7 p.m. Japan Standard Time. We hope you enjoy the show.
All right. So, what do you think is going to be there? A lot of people are saying
Viva
Final
Pinata.
Fantasy. I've seen, because okay, I'm just going to continue talking. We've seen people say Final Fantasy 16. I've seen somebody say don't expect Final Fantasy 7 to be there. I personally really don't care about either one of those games. But what are your guys' thoughts? And Yobi, I kind of want you to go first with it because I think you're a little bit more nice about Square Enix than I am.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say I don't hear him.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. If I'm being honest, I wrote Square Enix a long time ago when they made their comment about black people in their games. So I can care less.
How
You can
about
skip
anything
mine.
else for Tokyo? Because we can't pretend Square Enix is all of Tokyo.
What do I think is going to be? I'm pretty sure they're probably going not some Final Fantasy, but other than that, I expect to see some games.
I'm sorry.
all good.
I expect to see some games.
Right. Matt, any thoughts or expectations coming from Tokyo Game Show for yourself?
You guys know I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy fan, but I'll say I'll just make a prediction and say Final Fantasy 7 remake and 16 will be there. I'll just make that
Okay, so you
prediction.
think both of them are gonna
And one
come
of them
there?
goes to Game Pass. I mean, if we're making predictions, I'm going out there. I'm going out there with the prediction.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
hold on,
Cozy.
Ham. Mishi Miyagi said, panel looking like Dr. Eggman, Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails.
I saw that. Oh my god, I saw that too.
Hell no.
That's great. I don't remember who I asked. Was it Cozy?
Cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cozy. Any thoughts?
They're gonna have Viva Pinata. If I keep saying it, one day it's gonna happen, and I'm gonna be able to tell you guys I told you so.
Okay. Anyways.
I don't
All right.
honestly think they'll have much interesting to show. It's like I feel like a lot of their Tokyo Game stuff is performative.
Okay, so no, you're good. I was just reading something. So let's go on ahead and move on to one of the next topics. We only got a couple more topics left before we're gonna get up out of here. But I thought this one was kind of interesting because it's a lot of money, and I think you guys might know what I'm talking about. I do have a little bit of positive news after we talk about this, or if you want to call it that. I think it's interesting, at least. But let's go on ahead and get into it. So this next topic I want to talk about, which unfortunately happens to be Concord again. But like we just come to find out here not that long ago from like Colin Moriarty here on Twitter put, I spoke extensively with someone who worked on Concord, and it's so much worse than you think. Internally referred to as the future of PlayStation with Star Wars like potential, and dev culture of toxic positivity halted any negative feedback. Ooh, toxic positivity. That's been like a thing as of recently. That's kind of interesting. Making it cost $400 million, so near $500 million for a game that didn't even really last 2 weeks, right? But let's go on ahead and hear what they had to say. I'm not sure if we're going to sit here and listen to the whole 9 minutes, but we'll definitely cut off. We'll stop on some points and talk about what they have to say if they say anything interesting. But let's go on ahead and listen to it.
I want to talk about Concord. I wasn't going to ever talk about this game again because who really gives a shit? However, and I don't do journalism really anymore, as you guys know, and we talk about this a lot. I was a journalist at one time, and I used to break a lot of stories, and these days I don't really grind like that. So the stories that I break these days are usually not usually, always people coming to me. And someone who worked on Concord reached out to me, and I verified who this person was and went through all of that and talked to this person extensively, for a long time. Ooh. And got some, I think, interesting information that I can share about Concord. And I think people will be interested about it. The reason that I wanted to talk about it is because some of the assumptions that I had made about the game were dead wrong as far as how much it cost and how much Sony really lost on it. So the big thing that you really need to know here about this is that Concord cost about $400 million to make.
Oh my God.
And the story goes that Concord, by the time Concord was, so in the first quarter of 2023, Concord had basically entered an alpha state. This was before Sony had even purchased the team. But Sony had been working with Probably Monsters, and which was the original owner of Firewalk and Firewalk, probably since late 2020, maybe 2021 at the latest on Concord. The game was in development before that. Up to the point that the game went into alpha state, they had already spent about $200 million on it. And it's unclear how much of that money is from probably.
So time out real quick.
Yeah.
So before it even went into alpha state, they're saying over $200 million were spent. Near a quarter $250 million was already spent on this game. Thoughts on that alone? Because I got a question I'm going to be asking Cozy, but I'm waiting on them to touch on it first before I reach out and strangle. Reach out and ask Kobe.
Wow.
Cozy, excuse me. I'm
Wow.
sorry.
Wow. You won't strangle me if I strangle you first. I'm gonna watch.
Okay, but anyways, Matt, thoughts on
Yo.
200 million before alpha?
That is insane. It also, I think I saw Vinny post about it, post the exact thing I'm about to say, but like it makes you look at remember everyone's freaking out when Halo, like the rumored thing, which still was never confirmed, was like 500 million for that. It makes you look at that and go, wow, that's I guess that's not that crazy. Or if it is crazy, then everything's crazy, I guess. It's one of those two things, because if you're spending 200 million before you even hit an alpha, I mean, you have some really high hopes for your game.
It goes back to what we were talking about with gaming in general, right? Where it's just like, I feel like Nintendo is the only one that understands it, and still they get checked by another developer that's not spending a crazy amount of money to make a dope game, right? But to me, it just kind of speaks to how Nintendo is doing things, where it's like low overhead to be able to make something good, and then just kind of padding on to it as time continues to go. Because you just look at Mario. Sure, it looks a lot sharper than it does, but it doesn't look a whole lot different than like the 64 days. Like, we still see the general idea of how it came to fruition, right? You go to watch an old TV show, you watch South Park from the first few episodes, and then you watch the most recent episodes of South Park, and you're like, I get it. But they didn't really change a crazy amount, right?
Mm-hmm.
They changed just enough for it to look polished.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just find that kind of interesting. What's up?
We got Loken here now.
Well.
Whoa, what up, though?
Joke.
What's going on,
Greetings and salutations. ladies
No,
and
you can't greet
gentlemen.
us and salutation us.
I am late.
You don't accept it.
You
and
are.
I'm going to be quick and brief. First,
is it on this topic?
The 400 million.
Yes.
I need to see something more concrete. I'm not being a pony. I'm not being a pony.
Wait, look, before you start,
you already are with that statement.
Yeah, you are.
I need to see more. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Are you okay and are you safe?
I don't think you're going to see more.
My brother. I
don't think he's safe.
I love it. I'm glad that you're safe, man.
All right. So my last point. I want to talk about propaganda, politics, and ideology in video games, specifically Dragon Age Veilguard. I don't know if you guys saw any of this.
Why didn't you at least wait until we were done with this topic before you just hop in and just completely derail the topic? Jeez Louise.
There was some scars from mastectomies or whatever surgery that females do when they want to transition, and people are stressed about that being in Concord. I just want to be specific here. All right. The definition of propaganda, according to Oxford, propaganda is persuasive mass communication that filters and frames issues in a way that strongly favors particular interests. Are you guys telling me that all of these classic games that you all love, that we all love, that everyone claims has no propaganda, are you telling me those old games didn't have persuasive communication?
They didn't. Propaganda is what is the
they
new
didn't
wokeism.
frame issues. They didn't frame issues in a way that strongly favored their specific ideologies at the time. Just because you agree with whatever is being spewed on the screen does not change the definition of what it is.
Mhm.
All right, let's move on to ideology. According to Oxford, I didn't go to Merriam-Webster because those fuckers are crazy. Ideology is a set
Wow.
of ideas that that an economic or political system is based on. It is a wide-ranging system of beliefs, ways of thought, and categories that provide the foundation of programs of political and social action. Are you telling me that before 2015 there was no ideology in video games?
Yes.
Come on, guys.
It's
I'm
a
not
new
talking to
woke
you.
thing that
I'm not
the new
talking to
woke
you,
people
Cozy.
do.
You fucking crazy. I ain't talking to you.
Oh.
These classics had ideology. They did have propaganda. They did have politics. Wake up. Dragon
No, they
Age
didn't.
Veilguard.
That's a new
Dragon
thing.
Age Veilguard just looks subpar in general. I agree with that one. No problem. But no one actually cares about trans top surgery. All right. Concord bombed because it was mid at best, not because the generic robot had pronouns. Cyberpunk 2077, widely acknowledged as one of the greatest RPGs of all time, has lots of left-wing propaganda, and yet we all love it. So let's
What?
complain about something worthwhile in Dragon Age Veilguard, all right? The fact that the maximum body proportions in the character creator screen make sure that you cannot make a truly voluptuous woman, all right? There's a real problem, all right? If you scroll that shit to 100, the hips look like nothing, the tits look like nothing, all right? That's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
Oh my god.
Y'all have a
Damn.
good one. Ciao.
Stay safe, Loke.
Damn, you're
See
out after that.
you
All right.
later.
That's fine.
God damn.
Yeah.
That was something. That had
was.
nothing to do with what we were talking about. But it was
No.
something.
Oh my god, he actually left after that.
He did. He was dead
Damn.
serious about what he said. And I mean, from what I understood, I agree that, I mean, just to finish out that talk before we get back onto what we were talking about, like, I agree that, like, dude, you, like certain people only care if, like, they feel like they can get a quick win.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he brought up an excellent point there at the end, talking about Cyberpunk. Like, bro, like if you want to use any of this woke, crazy, inappropriate, desensitized, yada yada yada, like, why didn't you start back in 2020 when it was like evident in Cyberpunk? Like, it is so, and even before that game. Really, I mean, this has been going on for generations. And so, like, to be surprised, I mean, I remember in boxing games, like, you can make a female or a male boxer look totally different or whatnot, and you can have different scars. Like, what is it? Like, what is it? Is it called alopecia? I don't remember.
Alopecia,
but
it's
the hair condition.
Oh,
I
what
know
am I thinking with the skin? I'm talking about the
white
skin.
and black skin. Like, I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember
Yeah.
what it's called. Shit, I'm gonna have to look it up now.
You talking about the skin disease that Michael Jackson had, right?
Did Michael Jackson? I have no idea.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Michael Jackson's questionable.
No, vitiligo. That's what it is.
Say it again, Cozy.
Vitiligo.
Yeah, vitiligo.
Vertigo.
Yeah.
Vertigo.
I don't know. I think a lot of this is like, it's obviously reactionary, but it's hilarious. It's because they liked a thing, so they didn't care. But then when they don't like a game, or when they've been told not to like a game, they take negative. They have a negative stance against this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like it, man. Just, like, if you don't want your character to look like that, then don't choose that option.
But they don't want that
Exactly.
option to exist, because if that option exists, it's woke.
Yeah, and it's an
Well,
affront to
okay.
them as a
Well,
person.
just like you have options in the real world, you got options in the video games. Do you want to do that? No. Okay, do something else.
Exactly.
Like, to me, like I don't understand the whole, like, that's what rating systems are for, right?
Right.
Hey, this is rated M. I shouldn't be mad that my 6-year-old is making. I shouldn't have my 6-year-old playing the game.
Facts.
Like, that's my responsibility. That's not the developer.
But it's easier if everyone else regulates themselves in the same way that you do.
What?
So, like, it's easier if you don't have to think about regulating regulating your 6-year-old, because the company should regulate things so that your 6-year-old doesn't see the political message and stuff.
But the company, they care
Guys,
about one
I
thing.
see
They
what
want
you're
money.
saying, Cozy, and that's bogus.
Yeah.
They
You're
don't care
being
about
ridiculous
regular.
right now.
They want money.
What Cozy is essentially saying with a straight face is let the government take care of your child. Why should you lift a finger?
Exactly. Your teachers, that's their entire job, is to raise your children.
Oof.
And the companies, it's their entire job to make sure your children don't come into contact with anything that offends your sensibilities.
Oh my goodness, that's nuts, Cozy.
It's just so insane to think. Thinking back to when I was like, I don't know, when did Vice City come out? Like 04, I think. I would have been 10 years old. I remember my dad.
Baby, I would have been baby.
I remember my dad getting me that, and he, like, before I played it, he's like, "Okay, so you realize this is a game and not real life. So, like, it's fun to do whatever you're doing on this game on the game.
Just don't do it in real life.
But don't be doing that shit in real life." And he gave me that talk, and I played. We both played the game, and it was awesome. It's just kind of nuts that apparently that seemingly, and I'm not a parent, so I'm talking out of my ass, but it seems like for a lot of people, it's gone out the window for some reason, and I don't know.
I am, and what I've noticed, and it's not even that it's a terrible thing. With being a parent, you have to be kind of ready to kind of be very protective over your child, right? You do have to worry about who they're hanging out with and what they are providing for your child to see, to play with, to do.
Candy.
Also, like, you know, like what's legal out there in legislation, and like what they can be out there doing in one state is different than another. I feel like we've heard a lot about that as of recently, right? What you can do in one state, you can totally not do, or something like that. And but at the end of the day, like, I feel like a lot of parents, what they don't let themselves realize is you're only in control of so much. Like, some people try to be in control of every single aspect, and in return, they usually make things worse.
Right.
Whether it is on themselves or on the child. And what I've noticed for myself is I don't mind if my child does something that may be a little beyond her age, as long as I find it appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to know what that thing is.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, if she's playing a video game that maybe has people dying, there's blood or something like that. I'm not saying that she does that, but I'm just saying, like, if she were to, I'm almost certain my daughter has turned on and played a game where somebody's died or something like that. Right? Whether it be, you know, Roblox or anything. Right?
Mm-hmm.
what I like to do is acknowledge what she's playing while she's playing it, and just kind of see how she reacts to the game being played.
Right.
And then ask her questions about it after she's done playing.
I mean,
one of the realest one of the times that let me know that I was teaching my daughter correctly was when I told her, as I was playing, what's that game called? Pretty vicious game. Callisto Protocol.
Oh,
I was playing Callisto Protocol, and we all know how nasty that game can get.
yeah.
Daughter was in the room, and I said, "Hey, I need you to get out of here." And she looked over at me and she says, "Dad, it's not real."
Oh wow.
There you go.
She was five.
Wow.
She was 5.
Respect. Okay.
Yeah, smart.
So
you
so
engage.
so it's just those, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, Cozy. I'll let you go on here in just a second. But it's just those little nuance moments that tells me she's in control of reality.
Right.
And not that I'm gonna be like, all right, here's the controller, it's your turn. No,
Yeah.
it's still not like that. But it's like I could see her play something on a Roblox or on a different little game where it's much more friendly, but somebody dies or something like that, or like playing Astrobot and you're killing enemies and whatnot, and she's killing things. I don't feel like she's doing it in a vicious way. I think she's just having a good time and playing the video game, not trying to like, oh, I had a bad day at school and I want to do this to this person and I'm gonna play this game to reenact that situation. No. No, you just have to have a pulse on your kids at the end of the day and just kind of know what they're doing. I understand the more they grow up, the harder it gets, but at the same time, what you teach them today will give you some sort of result of what you could get tomorrow.
Right.
What were you saying though, Cozy? I'm sorry.
I was
you
gonna say,
3
I think
times.
the problem is you get people that are falsely vigilant in ways that don't matter. Like I was raised. Shut up. I was raised on a solid diet of horror movies, which I still love nowadays. But it's sort of I acknowledge that a lot of that stuff would have just been appropriate to just throw out at a kid. It would have been very inappropriate to throw certain things out as a kid, but they do. And nowadays, that's. I'm going to shut off my camera so I can kill her.
Yo. We could be accessory to murder. I don't think so.
Just doesn't count if it's dinner. But yeah.
Yeah. So now I guess, does anybody else have anything to say on that topic before we go on ahead, and because I think this is going to be the last one probably.
No, well said.
You good? You good, Yobi?
Yobi's never good. He's always great.
Oh,
I'm good.
All right,
well, let's continue. Because my dogs are barking.
No, you're good. All right, let's go on ahead and continue what we were listening to.
Probably Monsters and the original investors into the game, and how much of that money was from Sony. There's this term in product development, not only with games, but really with everything. You can manufacture a tchotchke. You guys might have heard of it. It's called minimum viability, or a minimum viable product. Mm-hmm. The idea behind this, or MVP, the idea behind this is that this is what you're trying to achieve, and it's once you cross this barrier, you feel comfortable selling it. It's not that it's the best it can be, or that it's what it's going to be by the time you launch it, because there's all sorts of extra stuff you do to it. But this is the minimum viability of the product. When the game had already had $200 million spent on it and was basically in an alpha form in Q1 of 2023, from that point until the game launched, Sony spent another $200 million on it. The scuttlebutt behind the scenes about Concord is that the game was in a laughable shape when it was shown, and basically when the alpha was ready to go, and they were kind of being we're ready to kind of get moving towards getting this thing out in the next year or two. It was in such horrible shape that Sony felt like they needed to spend that much money again. So, 200 plus 200 to get the game to the MVP status, not to the status of it being like a great game, to get it to just viability. And that at that time in Q1 2023, there was nothing done. Like a major expense was having.
I'm gonna pause it real quick, and here's why. I feel like it's really weird that they're talking about, a working point or the game properly functioning and stuff like that, and then they like kind of expedited the process by spending a lot more money. Like, personally, I don't really I don't really see that being the problem here as much as the dynamic in just the idea of the game in the first place.
Sure.
So it's like you could have said, "Hey, we need 600 million to get this thing in a working state." But if the whole concept of the game is still what it was, what does it matter how much money you spend?
Right.
It's the concept of the game that's the problem, not the function. Because we all played, or like at least me, Matt. I remember Hard Days Mike and a few. I'm not sure if Vinny played it. And I don't think Vinny played it. Maybe he did. But I remember a few of us played it. I remember myself. I got like an hour and a half worth of footage on my PC at home of that game, and the functionality wasn't the problem, really. It was just like, what else do you do was the issue to me. Like, it was Overwatch, right? But we could already play that game.
Yep.
And did the gunplay feel great? Yeah, to me it did. But like, as for like just sustainability of a game like that just staying on the market with the concept that it had, I just don't see why anybody would want to pay $40 for that concept. You had to have some concept like that from the beginning. So spending another 200 million, that has nothing to do with it to me. To me, it started way back at the beginning when you had the concept of the game. I'm wondering, personally, if there was some sort of concept change within this money being spent. Because to me, that would answer more questions than them just saying they spent money on this game, but it wasn't functioning properly, so they spent a lot more money. That doesn't do enough for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd be interested to know if they actually did change concept, because maybe that's the not functioning properly portion of it. Maybe the not functioning properly is them not being able to find. You hear developers talk about, can they find the fun in their own game? Maybe they weren't able to find the fun, and that wasn't the game functioning properly.
Because if I'm being honest, when we first seen that game talk about, I was getting like some sort of, this is going to be like a goofy, fun version of Destiny kind of thing.
Yeah.
That I was, and then we seen the mocap pieces, like one of the mocap pieces that they did, and we're sitting there thinking, okay, it looks like maybe a fun Destiny mix with Guardians of the Galaxy type of thing. Then we're leaning that direction a little bit with it. And then the game, comes to fruition, and we find out that this is only a Crucible version of Overwatch.
Yeah.
And that just wasn't enough.
It's Overwatch meets Destiny. It's free-to-play game meets free-to-play game for $40. That's just, that math doesn't add up. Doesn't work.
All right. Let's keep going unless anybody else had something quick to say.
No.
Nope.
I did, but it's gone.
Oh, damn it. Just blurt it out next time, Cozy.
I'm
Having to
respectful.
urgently out.
I'm going to pause it real quick and say that's bullshit.
What did she just say?
She said I'm respectful.
Cozy.
Yeah, right.
Cozy.
Yeah,
I thought it was
It's nuts.
Yeah, I had to pause it. I can't let that slide. That's some bullshit.
Source much of the game to other studios to finish building the game out, and that two fundamental things were not worked on at all up to the point in which the game was shown in alpha. Onboarding, nothing about that. No, like there was nothing about how players get on, like how they make their character, all that kind of stuff, or choose their character and get there. And monetization, two very expensive, very specific and boutique things that happen to games like this. And so that's the first thing that I wanted to say, is that it's not only about the ongoing cost, which would be in the millions to keep the game going per month, but that the game cost about $400 million to make, soup to nuts. Sony put most of that money in, and it is not only so, because we had kind of said, like, this must be Sony's biggest loss ever on a game, and it is. It's the biggest game Sony's ever released from a budgetary standpoint from the first party or second party. So let that sink in.
It's crazy.
And it's totally unintuitive.
Man.
There are games that are in development right now at Sony first and second party that are more expensive than this. But as of the games that have come out so far, so think about like Spider-Man 2 and so on and so forth. We know The Last of Us Part 2 cost $220 million. Spider-Man 3 is going to cost about $350 million. This game cost more than that. And they lost all of it because they made no money. They made about $1 million gross revenue, and then they gave it all back. So this is a huge, multiple hundreds of millions of dollar loss. Now the question is, why? Why did this happen? This game was heavily championed behind the scenes. Now we know this because Sony ended up, what's funny is that the game is presented in Q1 2023 as this, we're kind of getting towards the end. The game is nowhere near being done. It's in a horrible position. And then Sony buys the team.
Mm-hmm.
The idea behind this was, and the term apparently verbatim had been used, that Concord is the future of PlayStation. That they had such major ambition for this game that it was referred to internally as a Star Wars-like project for Sony. That it can be repeatedly revisited over and over and over again, not only in cross-media, but in what we were seeing. We've already kind of seen little bits of it. So the weekly story vignettes that they were going to release, and then, of course, the inclusion in Amazon's Secret Levels anthology, that's like just scratching the surface of it. Ironically, the game was codenamed Chaos behind the scenes. And a major thing about the game is that
they weren't wrong about
and I think
that
we can
shit.
kind of get.
Hold on, pause it real quick. They were not wrong about their fucking code name. I tell you that.
Yeah. I'm glad he brought up that Amazon thing, because that's, as soon as he said a Star Wars like franchise, I immediately thought, yeah, they paid to be part of that Amazon show. And now their game's dead, and what are they going to do? Cancel the episode?
I know, right? Like, I don't know what you could do, because the game itself is in limbo right now of being uncertain that whether it's gonna actually come back or not. And I think there was a report that like one of the heads of the studio like left.
Yeah, I saw it today. I think the director or something for Concord left.
Yeah, like the lead director or something like that. Like step down, like as they professionally use when somebody's embarrassed and leaves.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, it's not. Cozy or Yobi, anything you guys want to say about that particular real quick before
I
we
just
finish
feel like
this?
they miscalculated whatever they were doing with that. Whatever they're doing with Concord.
You about choked up, Cozy, when you heard Star Wars.
Oh, because I think so. You know, I constantly praise Nintendo, right? The thing I constantly praise about Nintendo is their game-centric focus. I think Sony's problem is largely trying to chase their studios to have Nintendo levels of success without understanding how Nintendo got there.
Mhm.
And with their game centric philosophy.
It's a fair
So, do you believe, Cozy? Because this question's directed
Okay.
right back towards you. Do you believe that what Hiroki Totoki said about their IP? Do you feel like that's part of the issue, or do you think that they're just kind of bitching and moaning
I think
to
they're
bitch and moan?
moaning. I think they fundamentally understand they respect their IPs, but they don't create game centric games. So their games feel lacking often.
Fair criticism.
Fair enough. Okay. Yobi, anything before we finish this up?
I don't care. Move on.
Get this vibe from just the nature of the people making it and kind of the way the game reads and all that, a toxic positivity vibe. You weren't allowed to say anything apparently internally about this game, about how like something's wrong with it, character designs are not right, and so on and so forth. They really truly believe this was Herman Hulst's baby apparently, and he internally was himself a massive champion of the game.
Why
So
Colin have to
it's
say it
not
like that?
So the reason I'm telling you all of this, it's some interesting information, of course, but it's that I had said when people were like Concord lost $200 million. Now people were pulling that money out because that's basically how much like some of the first party games like Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us Part 2, etc., kind of cost in that frame. And I was like, there's no way that it costs that much. I was saying like it cost 9 figures, probably like low $100 million, but there's no way it cost $200 million. No, it cost $400 million. So, and I'm totally solid on this source, by the way. So that's why I'm willing to share it with you. Because again, I'm not really a journalist. So yeah, the big things to take away: $400 million loss. The game was in horrible shape as of 18 months ago before release. Not even monetization, no onboarding, most content not even there. The game was in such bad shape at that point that they spent the budget of it again in urgent outsourcing to get the game finished from all of these different angles over an 18-month period. Internally, the game was considered part of the future of PlayStation with heavy cross-media references and a system of toxic positivity surrounding it that didn't allow anyone to meaningfully change the course of the game. Because if the people at the top truly believe in something, you're not going to be able to do much about that, I don't think, from the trenches. So I thought people would be interested in that. And just wanted to throw that out there that, yeah, Star Wars really apparently, or I'm sorry, Star Wars. Sony really saw this as a Star Wars-like project for them, like the potential to, and now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Not only why they spent so much money on it, but why they bought the team. So there are people there, and to me, it's unclear who exactly the people are. I know some of the names. I don't want to get too deep into that because a lot of the things I learned were off the record, but obviously this is on background. And it's like, yeah, now it makes a little more sense. You spent, and by the way, the $400 million not included in how much it cost to buy the team.
Oof.
Wait, how much was the team?
So
Look that up.
yeah, so Concord is Sony's biggest released game by budget to date, and it is the biggest loss that they've ever had as a company on a project before.
All right. Well, the question I wanted to ask you, Cozy, that saved until the end because they didn't. What's that?
Before we start, I just want to say this. I took one look. Number one, no, I'm not interested in Concord. Never had, never will. But I took one look at Concord, and I didn't see anything that screamed Star Wars to me. I'm done.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, like I said, I've seen more Guardians of the Galaxy. attempt than anything. But Cozy, I was asking you, are you there? By the way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was asking you. I wanted to ask you this earlier, but he didn't bring it up until like the end. I gotta get your opinion on this, and then I gotta bounce over to Yobi and get his opinion on it as well, because
Okay.
I feel like this is something that's been thrown around a lot, and I don't really know how to really go about it. So I'm just gonna ask you straight up: is toxic positivity a real issue, and what does it exactly mean to you?
They call it toxic positivity, but really it's just finding yes men and surround in a
Fact.
situation where you surround yourself with yes men, so you can't get an honest answer about an honest critique. And some people, they honestly foster that because they can't handle critiques. And it is a detriment, because you're not going to listen to someone says, "Hey, that sucks. And here's why."
Yeah.
I guess I mean that's a great point to bring up, because because a lot of people will just say yeah to make sure that their seat's comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
that they get what they feel that they're due at the end of the day, instead of actually speaking up and being like, hey, I see an issue that we should point out, talk
Hell hath
about, and
no
get.
fury like a game dev.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just
Anyways.
saying, lots of people that work in certain industries, they can't handle criticism. They're emotionally should just be treated like children,
And what
where
you
you
just
let them
said,
win.
what he just said, that toxic positivity, and they were basically stopped from saying how they feel about the game. Realistically, internally, they caused their own downfall for this game. If you're gonna stop
Mm-hmm.
people from being honest about how you feel about the game, that's on
Oh,
y'all.
100%.
It's on.
100%.
Yeah, that's on Sony.
Yeah. How prevalent do you think that is, like, though, today, Yobi? Like, do you think that, like, because now I'm gonna attack a little bit of Ubisoft games now.
Mhm.
Like, let's go with the latest Assassin's Creed Shadows. All right. Now, let's take that and say there's a lot of people that are just wanting to play a good game, but there's also people that think that this needs to be strictly to the lore, and only toxic positivity is keeping people from seeing the truth behind the history and stuff behind, like when it comes to when I almost said fucking Sasuke. When when it comes to Yasuke. Like, what do you say to like something like that, where it's kind of like similar but going the opposite direction?
Honestly, they can say what they want about trying to see the truth about Sasuke and history, and his background in Assassin's Creed Shadows. But truthfully, if you go do your research, it's a damn statue of him built over there. You can go and see it. What more? What more truth do you need? You want to look up his history? Go and look. Like, how many times do people who actually have firsthand knowledge have to say this over and over again? Yes, Sasuke was a real samurai. Sasuke was official. And
Yasuke.
yeah, Yasuke was official, and
See, you doing it too.
Yasuke, he's official. There's a statue of him. Like, it's in books. People who are tied to that family tree and to the history back then up until now, they know. And the fact that I didn't like that Ubisoft did this, that they came out and made a big ass Twitter post and apologized to these fucking crybabies. Like, what are you apologizing to them for? They wasn't gonna buy your game anyway. They were just complaining just to complain because they see a black dude was the main focus next to the Japanese the Japanese girl, the two of the main characters. Like, I think that was corny, and the fact that you apologize to them for that anger means you kind of like took a back seat and you actually listen to what they say, but it's not gonna move the needle of your game to any trajectory. Like the game, me personally, I think that the game is still gonna sell, but I don't. I just felt like that shit was corny. What else? What else? What else? But the toxic positivity, I think that's and that's prevalent in gaming, in real life relationship, and that's prevalent in life in general. And I think toxic positivity that could be a detriment to a lot of businesses or friendships, even relationships failing. Because if we were all four right here, right? We were sitting at a table with investors, and they looking to give us $1 billion, right, for a game, right? And they ask us all how we feel. Then you got another gentleman who joined the table, and all four of us voiced our opinions, and they're on the same wavelength. But you got this one guy who comes in, joins the topic. He comes left lane, but we all know he's speaking bullshit. And the investor just go, well, I think the fifth gen, we're gonna go with what he said. So his statement held weight more than all of our statements combined. When our statements was basically in what's the word I'm looking in influent, not influent, but in how could I say this? In sync. So his hold more weight than the four guys who just talking to you in sync, and it makes sense, and it make sense on a business tip and a personal tip. But he comes in, he just okay, we're gonna go with him. Okay, we're gonna give him the grant. Like that don't make sense. Then next thing you know, 10 years, 2 years later, the guy who they went with, hey, you just cost us your $1 billion that we gave you just went down the drain. I feel like that's kind of a toxic positivity. Like you're gonna get these four guys gonna be honest with you. You're gonna get this one guy who just blows smoke over your kiss your ass. You're gonna go with him because he sound more convincing. It's bullshit, bro. That's how I feel him.
Fair enough. I think that's. I don't think what you said was. I don't think what you said was insane or crazy at all. I think that was pretty much on point. Got to bounce over to Matt because I can hear more family coming in. So this is literally like the last little piece before we get up out of here. But let me go on ahead and ask you real quick, Matt. Like when it comes to the whole idea of toxic positivity, we've heard people be called that within the community. As of recently, not that long ago, we did a podcast here on BullSittin, talking a little bit about it. I believe with Cassie. So I gotta ask you, like, how prevalent do you think it is, and how much do you maybe even agree with Cozy, where it's not really toxic positivity as much as it's just pushovers?
Cozy said it perfectly. It's people in charge hiring yes men. Like it's nobody likes. I mean, as helpful as it is, I mean, I'll put it this way. I'll speak for myself. I don't love hearing criticism of myself, but I know that it's helpful, and especially coming from the right person, it's well, and they have good intentions. They're not giving you criticism to just shit on you for the sake of shitting on you. Like they're doing it because they want to see you do well. And that's in many different walks of life. That can be from the smallest thing to the biggest thing. It's like you need some level of criticism. You need to be able to take and handle some level of criticism. It's kind of just imperative to being a human being, honestly.
Right.
But like this whole toxic positivity thing, I think it's incredibly prevalent. Like you just brought up that whole thing with Assassin's Creed Shadows. Obviously, we're talking about Concord. Like I'll throw in the stuff you hear about Bungie, where it's like you have a bunch of people at the company who, I mean, reports say they don't want to be working on Marathon. They do not like that game. They don't want to make it. But you have the people up top who are the people in charge who are saying, yeah, this will be great. This is going to be amazing. It's going to be incredible. And it's like, as long as you got those yes men saying what they're saying, then all the people who are below them, who aren't happy, who don't want to do this, none of their opinions matter. As long as you got that like toxic positivity at the top, none of the stuff below it matters. And it seems to be a problem. I mean, you mentioned, people talk about it in the community. We're talking about it now in the actual industry. It's just, I think it's a very real thing. A very real thing.
Yeah, and I guess I'll finish it off by saying myself, like, I 100% like agree that there is some issue with it, and I 100% agree with what Cozy said, where it's like not really toxic. Like it's a new label, essentially. Instead of calling it what it is, let's not call it shell shock anymore. Let's call it like, something else. Right, but it's the same fucking thing. I mean, we're really good at doing that in America. Like, this word means that word, that means that word, that means that word, that means that word, and they're all the same fucking thing. Right. And my whole thing with it is, it's so like, I like it's more than just in gaming per se. Like, it's just everyday life.
You're right.
Where some of the best people are blocked, shunned, or put into a spot where it is hard for them to properly elaborate or really even push any sort of point, due to a mass amount of people not wanting to hear the honest truth. So, like, I mean, we see it all the time on Twitter, right? Like, if I say something negative about Xbox, I'm a pony. You say anything positive about PlayStation or positive about Xbox, you're a bot, right? You can't say either thing without being. It's like a label war almost, right? And they always want to find out what camp are you riding with. And if you're riding with multiple camps, then you're just a fucking you're a piece of shit to them.
Yeah, you're not allowed to ride for multiple camps. You got to be part of one. Like,
Like I used to get that all the time when I was a kid, because I'm a huge football fan, and my favorite football teams in college was Nebraska and Texas. And if you guys know anything about those two teams, they're bitter rivals. They're bitter rivals, but I'm a fan of both of them. Do I pull a little bit for one when they're playing each other? Yeah. Yeah, I do. But at the end of the day, it's just like, I'm still a fan. I'll rock either one of their hats. I'll rock either one of their jerseys. You know what I'm saying? But like, since I'm like that, if I go to a Nebraska game with a Texas jersey on, I'm like suspect number one.
Right.
I'm the worst person in the building. Even if I tell them, yo, we got dogs on the defensive line, and y'all aren't going to be able to run the ball all game. That could be an absolute fact. But since it's coming out of my mouth and not another person wearing a Husker jersey, I'm a piece of shit. And I have no validity. And it stinks. It stinks. It happens, just within our community. It happens within, these games, behind the scenes with the devs, with the people wearing the suits and ties. It happens between us people podcasting. Oh, you got a view that I don't believe in, and you posted it on the Twitter, and I had to tell all my boys about it, and now none of us fuck with you. And it's like, wow.
It's corny,
like,
bro.
it's like having an opinion is damn near insane anymore.
Right.
Having an opinion is like it's like, you know, eating that forbidden fruit.
Right.
Damn near. Like if you display that you like something that most people hate, you're a piece of shit. If you hate
Right.
something that everybody else likes, you don't see what everybody else is seeing. There's no way to win.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
But anyways, let's go on ahead and wrap up and get up out of here. This has been a little fun time. I'm sorry for all the technical difficulties early off in the show. I'd like to thank Yobi. Yeah, yes, I did. I'd like to thank Yobi in particular for being a guest and withstanding all of the bullshit that was happening on the way in here. I seen that comment that you posted at the beginning of the show, you asshole, saying
that
you late to your own
Loke,
shit.
not you. That was actually towards Loke, not you, because I thought Loke was gonna be running the thing today.
No. He had some Texas encounters that he couldn't shake.
Right.
But anyways, I appreciate you being here. If you could, real quick, just go on ahead and what was that?
He said Crackdown 3 still sucks. Crackdown 3 was fire.
Oh my goodness. All right, y'all arguing. All right, go on ahead and let everybody know where they can find you.
What happened? You talking about me?
Yeah.
Oh, you can find me at Twitter at Legendary Yobi. You want to find me on gaming, all my gaming credentials in my my Twitter video, # peace, love, life, all that good shit.
Okay. All right. And Cozy, thank you for showing up and being here and sharing your thoughts. Some of them being extra, but we expect that from you. So what you gotta say? Let everybody know where they can find you.
We didn't talk about the ambassador program ending.
Oh my goodness. All right, go ahead.
The Xbox ambassador program is ending. We were
we didn't talk about that.
abruptly notified that it was ending. We found out like yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's supposed to end, I think, like October 15th or like 24th or sometime mid-October.
Low key, I felt that coming a mile away, because as the years went on, you kind of used to hear like a lot about the ambassador program, then it just got lower and then lower and then lower and then lower. So I kind of saw that coming.
We're a very active community. We're a very chill community.
Yeah. I met some cool people from that community too. It's fucking amazing.
And I will miss it.
Likewise.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that next Friday, because that'll still be something pretty fresh to talk about. But anyways, let everybody know where we can find you.
You can find me where you find Cozy Belugas, sometimes for GQTV, Majestic Mayhem, and obviously here, BullSittin, and then Wasting with Wise.
Oh, he's live right now, isn't he?
Yeah, I'll show up.
There.
All right, Matt. The Liquor Games. What's cracking? Go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you.
Find me on YouTube, Matt Likes Games, videos every week over there. You can also see the podcast Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern is the L3 Arthur podcast with myself, Hard Days Mike, and it's me, Twan. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern is the two-player podcast with myself and Ham Solo. And then Fridays, 4 p.m. Eastern, I'm here every week with these folks.
Sweet.
That's what's up. All right. Well, anyways, this is your boy Ham Solo signing out. There will be no Kalella playing, ranked Halo tomorrow, because we are out of town right now. We will be back on Monday, hopefully. Hopefully I'll be back in time for the Monday show. But everything should be back to regular schedule starting next week, and I should be back at my computer desk with my actual correct camera and lighting and all that good shit. So I do appreciate everybody for stopping through, whether you're here for a minute or you're here the entire time. I appreciate your time. Thanks again to Yobi and everybody else that came through. Do appreciate Cozy and Matt as well, the panel members here. But this is your boy Ham Solo 05 Gaming signing out from TSWS Gaming, letting y'all know to keep it gaming or keep it moving. Y'all have a wonderful rest of the day and weekend. Peace. Peace out.
Peace, love, life, peace.
See it.